Hey, shalom, shalom. All right, sounds good. Audio's good. Okay, so shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rachaha Kodash, and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who all learned the truth of the gospel of Yahawashi from, through the Holy Spirit. Honor, salutations, and blessings to the men that are preaching the gospel of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, in all sincerity, diligence, and truth. And peace, grace, and blessings be upon the house of David, which is the elect, the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, staying in the Holy Spirit, and keeping the faith of Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi to the best of your ability, day in and day out. So I just want to, go into this lesson, Lord willing. It is, of course, edifying unto the elect who we endure things for. As the title reads, the elect's focus should not be on the average zombie, parentheses, the honor of his saints. All right. And it's like basically the first part ties into the second part or vice versa. And, through the Spirit, something I was just, meditating on, the Lord actually hit me with this topic, over the weekend. Actually, I think it might have been on Friday, Friday or Saturday, but, the Spirit had it, didn't have it come out. So, right now, the Spirit jumped back on me to do this lesson. So, here we are. And, like I said, I was meditating on this, the fact that we as the hopeful elect, right, understanding, what that position, starting, of course, with the 144,000 men, the 12,000 from each tribe, understanding that that is the governing body of the kingdom to come, which is the kingdom of Israel, right, which is the kingdom of heaven, which is the everlasting kingdom. So you have the 144,000 men, 12,000 from each tribe. They are the ruling class or the governing of the kingdom, the everlasting kingdom. But then you have the rest of the elect, which are the first fruits of the kingdom, right? So let's pull up something. Let's go. You got the first fruits. You got the 144,000, right? And then you also have the rest of the elect. There's a scripture that I wanted. Here we go. The book of James, chapter 1, verse start at 17. It says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Right. Okay. So there's no variation or variableness with the Most High. All right. I believe in the book of Malachi says what? That the Lord said, I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. All right. Verse 18, it says, of his own will begat he us with the word of truth, which is, Yahawashi made, the word made flesh is Yahawashi, right? He is the way, the truth, and the life. It says that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. Now, when you go into the word first fruits, which let me see if it's in this one, should be. Yep. The third definition says persons superior in excellence to others of the same class. All right. Persons superior in excellence. Going to this word superior, it says of higher in rank, status, or quality. Okay. So you have to have the mind and the understanding that when we are speaking of being a part of the hopeful elect, when we're speaking about being part of the ones who are chosen, hopefully, right, making our call and election sure, that we are in essence speaking about being of the highest, right, or status of all of the creatures that the Most High created. All right, because we know that we are already the sons of God, right? We know that we're already the Israelites. But even within the nation of Israel, which would be the same class, right? The class would be the Israelites, the sons of God. But even within that class, you have persons who are superior in excellence, because all of Israel is going to be of an excellent status, right? It says the quality of being outstanding or extremely good, right? Distinction, brilliance, bright, supremacy, preeminence. So all of Israel is going to have, greatness. It's going to have a high quality. But the first fruits, but there is a rank to that. Even Yahawashi spoke about the ones who teach men, who break the commandments and teach men to do so, shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. All right, the ones who keep the commandments and teach men to do so, they should be called great in the kingdom of heaven. That least and that great are statuses that that Israelites are going to have within the kingdom. Okay, and the elect, starting with the 144,000, right? Starting, even amongst 144,000, you have rank. You got the 12, and amongst the 12, you have Peter, and then, on top of Peter, you have Yahawashi. So there's rank. There's always going to be rank. Okay, but I say that to say this, that if we are striving, to press toward that high calling, let's pull that up. High calling, right? Philippians chapter 3, verse 14. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of the Most High in Hamashiach Yahawashi. So if we are pressing toward that high calling, then you got to have your mind, all right, in that type of gear. All right, you got to, although we are in a position of the lowly, right? Although we're in the position of, the poor, the needy, as the scripture says that, where is that? In Ecclesiastes, that we are, set in a low place, right? Your mind, you have to have your mind transformed into being of a higher status, or of a superior status. Okay, and that doesn't mean you go around, just shitting on people and just brown nosing, not brown nosing, or turning your nose up at them. No, you got to have the mind of Yahawashi. Yahawashi knew he was who he was, but he was lowly, he was meek. That's why he says. That's why the Lord said, "Learn of me." Okay, learn of him. He is lowly and meek. All right, he came riding on a donkey, right, on an ass. He didn't come in this great splendor, a glorious fashion that you would think the second in command of the universe would come in. Okay, but he knew, he had the mind that he was a king, right? He had the mind, the understanding that he was who he was, but that wasn't the time period for him to showcase that. All right, that's why he told Pontius Pilate, if this was my kingdom, my servants will fight. See, that's a kingdom king mentality. For Yahawashi to say, if this was my kingdom, my servants would fight, he is speaking from a king's position. Because who else would have servants? Only people that have servants are, speaking from a national, or a national level. The only ones who have the servants are kings. Now you may have an employer, right, that can have employees, and in that essence, that would be like a micro level of a servant. But really, that employer is an employee to the government. All right, and the government in Esau's setup, the government is the employee to the elites of this world. Okay, now you have the elites of this world, the ones who are the kings, the rulers, the ones who have the position of power, influence, because that's what it's really about. It's really about the influence. You have them on the left-hand side, and then you have the hopeful elect of the sons of God, the nation of Israel, right? I'm not even say the hopeful, like the elect of the nation of Israel. We don't know if we are the elect, but we are the hopeful. But you do have the elect of the nation of Israel. Those are the elites of the left-hand side, and the elites of the right-hand side. So the elites on the left-hand side, they're not concerned with the average Joe Schmo Babylonian. When they make their moves, when they do their things, their Great Reset, their Charagma, their Fourth Industrial, they're doing that on a global level. That's a globalized event that they're partaking in. All right, they're not thinking on a level. And when you want to go really into it, for instance, they really want to target these on the right hand side. Are who? The elect. That's who they're really focused on. That's who they real focus, who they really want. Because even when you think about what Yahawashi told Peter that what? Simon, behold, Satan desires to sift you as wheat. Why did it desire to sift Peter as wheat? He was the head of, aka he was we know through the spirit he was King David. Satan wanted the top. All right. So our minds, we have to understand that we focus, don't be too concerned and too focused on these regular zombified, first and foremost, these heathens. All right. You may see a Amalekite walking up the street and you just looking at him like, oh man, I just want to, you just, for what? That Amalekite, he most likely, that Amalekite walking up the street is just as zombified as these wicked ass niggas that are out here as well. To any, okay, all of these heathens, majority, all of these Babylonians, these regular, 9 to 5 Americans, they have no clue what's going on. All right. So us being pressing toward that high, our mind, we shouldn't be focused and too concerned about what these regular heathens are doing. Okay. We should be focusing our energy in, as the scripture says, bringing down the strongholds. All right. Our weapons of warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty to pulling down of strongholds. These regular heathens don't have strongholds. Now they uphold the stronghold through them being deceived, right? Through them, their disillusion of what ultimately the rulers have put out. Actually, let me pull that up. I'm gonna come back to this, but let's get that here in second. In Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 1, it says, "A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered." That word government is a compound word. Govern meaning to rule, and ment, the suffix, meaning the mind. Okay, that is what a government does. A government rules the minds of the people that they are presiding over. All right, that's why Yahweh, I believe that's in Isaiah 9 and 5, around that area. I could be, wrong on the scripture or the verse rather, but it says what? That the government shall be upon Yahawashi's shoulders. Okay, the whole earth, when it's all said and done, when Yahawashi returns, your whole earth is going to be forced to try to emulate, right, the mind of Yahawashi. And that's why we're going to rule the earth with a rod of iron. Okay, that's why they're going to rule them with the rod of iron, because these heathens, they're not going to be able to ultimately put on the mind of Yahawashi. That's only given into Israel, but hey, they're going to be forced to try. So it says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, right? It says, in what manner of ruler, so like in what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So when you see what's going on in this society, right, with the type of mindset that people are in, all right, the type of wickedness that people are doing, understand that comes from the rulers of the society. They push out that vibration, and they do it through their various means of communication: social media, mainstream media, movies, TV shows. etc. Blogs, all of this, all of the ways that they are able to push out a message, or control a narrative that they want. Okay. So it says, what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So if all we got to do, if we want to know what the type of person or type of people that are ruling this world, all you got to do is look at the people of the world. It says, verse 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence, the wisdom of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Okay. And that we ultimately know that Esau, okay, is not fit to rule, and he's not going to rule for much longer because the people are being destroyed. But in the kingdom, when Yahawashi returns, who is the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, and will be in joint heirs with him, in Revelation 5th chapter, it tells us that that we shall reign, as kings and priests. Okay, we're going to reign as kings and priests. We should already have that mindset. We're just waiting for the reward of the condition of the battle, of striving to get that crown. See, the Lord, when he returns, he's going to reward us with the position that we all already should have, in our minds, trying to practice. All right, that should be in your mind as a hopeful elect, starting, of course, with the men, the servants, the prophets of the Lord. But hey, even when you go to the elect women, you should have a mind of being of a nobility. And that's why there's a certain way that you're supposed to be conducting yourself. When you read the scriptures, even if you go into secular history, the nobility of what they call it, aristocracy, those individuals, they conducted themselves completely different than the serfs, what they call them over there in Europe, or the peasants, or the average citizens. Okay. And the elect, once again, the elect, or the hopeful elect, are the nobles of the kingdom. They're the ones of the superior in excellence to the ones of the same class. So if you are a noble, if you are hoping to be of a noble of the kingdom, right? You want to be great in the kingdom, then you got to put that mind on. And when you have that mind, you're not going to be too focused on the average peasant, the average citizen. And that's why ultimately we only really concerned about the elect of the nation of Israel. Now, we don't know who the elect is, but we know, as the scripture says, the Yahawashi said, my sheep hears my voice. You know what? My bad. I just realized that I had that on. So it says, my sheep hears my voice, right? So if the elect, the nobles, that's who the Lord is really calling. Now, you have in this day and age that the nobles of the kingdom of heaven, they're in a bad position. They're in the hoods, right? They're in the ghettos, right? They may not be the most articulate. They may not be the most, have the most money. All right, obviously all of Israel is in a poor and needy position. Okay, but let's read this here, and this is why. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 5, it says, there is an evil which I have seen under heaven, as a error which proceedeth from the ruler. See, going back to Ecclesiasticus, the 10th chapter, this is Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter. Error of a society starts with the ruler. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So if there's an error that's coming from the ruler, and that's what the word king, chief, or prince, it's all synonymous, right? A judge, they're rulers. So if there's an error that proceeded from the ruler, then the whole city, the whole country, the whole kingdom is going to be in error. Verse 6, and this is a part of the error that this devil, all right, that Esau and the elites of Esau, this is the error that they proceed. Folly is set in great dignity. All right, foolishness, stupidity, vanity is highly exalted in Esau's kingdom. That is an error thing, because foolishness, should be something that is shunned. It should really be something that is embarrassing. But in Esau's society, he makes that praised. You can get famous from being a fool, especially if you're an Israelite. That's why you got your love and hip hops and your bad girls club and all this nonsense, right? Because that's just folly being set in great dignity. And it says, "And the rich sit in low place." Now, when you read this in the NLT, I believe, right, it says, "When they give great authority," so this is the error that proceeded from the ruler, "when they give great authority to foolish people." And this is something I always think about. Like, although I love football, right? I love the actual sport of football. I always think about, why in the hell do football players make hundreds of millions of dollars when really those are modern day gladiators? Gladiators in the ancient world, they weren't, not majority of them were not rich people. Okay, they were the brute beasts of the society. But in this society, folly is set in great dignity. Okay, so it says, "In low positions to people who are proven worth." All right, low positions to people who are proven worth. And really, the ones who are proven worth in this age, in this world, are who? The elect. Those are the only ones that have a real proven worth, or are worthwhile. That's why even in the book of 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter, the scriptures said, what? "Let the multitude perish which was born in vain." All right. The multitude, the useless eaters. That's what you want to know, where the scripture talks about, or where you get that phrase, I should say, useless eaters. The Lord came up with that first, man. The multitude who perish which was born in vain, their lives are in vain, because all they do is they're zombified. All they care about is eat, sleep, and be merry. They don't have the mind of being of a king. They don't have the mind, the mental capacity to rule, to think about ruling nations. Because when you think about what we are really speaking about, there's nobody in this earth except the elites of this earth are thinking the same thing that we're thinking. But see, they're thinking it on the left-hand side. They're thinking it from the energy of Satan. But we're thinking it from the righteous standpoint. We're thinking it from righteousness dwelling on the earth. But at the end of the day, what both sides are thinking about is what? Power, is dominion, is having influence. All right, is being able to have authority, control over the operations of the world. And only really nobles will think like that. Only the individuals who are of a nobility, of a noble mind, will really be meditating and thinking about those things. And when you're thinking about those things, the average zombie, it doesn't really, that's not you shouldn't be focused on that. And yeah, because we're in this low position, we have to interact with these heathens. We have to interact with, you go to the grocery store, you go to get your car washed, whatever. You got to interact with these people. But, something I always do, I look at, sometimes I go in the stores, not people watch, but I just walk around and, while I'm doing my thing. And I'm like, none of these people are thinking about, first and foremost, they ain't thinking about Yahawashi. And then secondly, they're not thinking about the affairs of the world from a macro level. All they're caring about is their little bubble. All right. All they're caring about is their little, 5-mile radius life that they have. And that's ultimately because what? They're of a low position in the Lord's, grand, in the Lord's grand movie. Okay. So let me read this again. It says, I have seen, so it says, folly is set in great dignity and rich sit in low and rich sit in low place. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Okay, and that the servants upon horses is ultimately Esau, Edom, right? Because Esau is the basis of man, and being upon a horse, that's basically you're elevated. You're in a position of a high status. And it says, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. So a prince is somebody who is a noble, somebody who is revered as being a person that is of a high value, high quality, but they're what? In a low place. They're walking as a servant upon the earth. Okay. So let's keep moving. This is the book of James, chapter 2, verse 5. It says, hearken, my beloved brethren, have not the Most High chosen the poor of this world rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him. First of all, let's see what this word heirs is. A person legally entitled to the property or rank of another on that person's death. All right, it's a successor, inheritor. Now, to be an heir, right? The Lord said that we're heirs to a kingdom. Now, let's go into this word. I think I have this up. The word kingdom. Okay, compound word. King and dumb. King and dumb. So you go into the suffix dam, meaning statute, judgment, jurisdiction, right? So your jurisdiction. Now, jurisdiction of what? Going to the word king. King, ruler. Okay. It says, and this was, it says one who descended from noble birth. And that is who the elect are. That's why they were elect from the foundation of the earth, because their spirits were created to be of that superior in excellence of the ones of the same class. It says, or of the descendants of a divine race. Hey, that's who? That's Israel, right? But even amongst Israel, you have the noble, you have the kings. Now, the bad thing about the Lord is the whole nation of Israel is going to be a nation of kings and princes and priests and princesses. So the whole nation is going to be the whole nation is of nobility, period. Because what the Lord is going to do is through the first fruits, the ones who are the superior excellence in class, right, of the same class, the whole nation, the rest of of Israel is going to come through those kings. So if all of the first fruits are going to be kings and princes, right, or not even princes, kings and princesses, and their children, all of their children are all going to be what? Royalty. You see? And if we are, Lord willing, the first crops of that, then this is the mind that we're supposed to be in. All right? You're supposed to be focused on kingship. The mind of the things that are higher level thinking. All right? Proverbs speaks about how wisdom is too high for a fool. These zombies out here, these people out here, the majority of these people are fools, man. That's why they can't get the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge of Yahawashi Yahawashi. They weren't of the nobility. They're not of that noble class. They have to get it. They have to learn it after death by pain. They have to learn it by coming coming through the loins of the ones who were predestined to be of that superior rank. Okay. So let's see what we have. All right, that. Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted. Right, because like how the title reads, right? Don't focus, or you should not be focused. The elect's focus should not be on the average zombie. Okay, so this is out of the book of Psalms, chapter 149. I'm gonna start at 6. All right, but the whole chapter is good, but I'm gonna start at 6 for the point. It says, let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the people, and punishments, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints, praise ye the Lord. Okay, so it's going to be an honor, because think about this. You got Klaus Schwab, and I'm just naming people right now. You have your Klaus Schwabs of the world, your the Rothschild family, the Rockefeller family, the Oppenheimers, the Waltons, the Disneys, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Bilderbergs, the Bloombergs, the Mark Zuckerbergs, whatever. All of those people, right? And I just named Esau. Now you got also the heathen, all right? In Saudi Arabia, you got the princes that are there. You got over there in China, you got your Xi Jinping, you got Kim Jong-un, okay? And we can just keep going on and on. No average regular heathen can get close, a person, not even just a heathen. No average regular person can get close to those individuals. You just had King Charles, right? So-called King Charles just get coronated. And you see how big of a spectacle that was. Okay, the whole damn near all of Europe stopped. You had Australia stopped. Okay, certain parts of Caribbean that the UK still has control over, they had to recognize it. So no average regular citizen of the world can get close to those people, let alone bind them with kings and bind them with chains and fetters of iron. Why? Because they're of a noble, in this generation. They're the nobles of this generation. But what we are striving to be and hope to be and making our call and election sure to be is the kings of the world to come. So if we're talking about a kingdom shift, right? If we're talking about the kingdom is being translated from one people to a next, then it would only be right that the kings of this world get put into chains by the kings of the world to come. Yeah, we're going to have these other heathens in servitude as well, but the honor that the elect are going to have is that the elect, starting with 144,000, they're going to be able to get the kings of this world as their servants. They're going to have the kings, the ones that had so much prestige and so much glory of this world. They're going to be, first and foremost, Yahawashi's slaves. But as we read, he's made us joint heirs with him. So the base individuals of this world, let's pull that, right, which are really the superior race or the superior in excellence of the world to come, they're going to have the ones who are really the pieces of shit, the bases of men in the world to come, but they're now the kings of this world. They're going to have them in chains, and the whole world is going to see that. The whole world is going to see what they deemed as just a bunch of crazy men on the streets wearing Power Ranger suits, right? Thinking that, yelling or teaching on the corners. They're going to see, the whole world is going to see those men having King Charles and Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and your the Ayatollahs of Saudi Arabia in chains. That is the honor that Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, is going to give us. And with that mindset, you shouldn't be concerned with the regular zombified heathen. Now, like I said, it gets vexing, right? Seeing them and having to deal with the filthy conversations of the wicked, but understanding what we are really into, what we are really thinking about, what your mind should really be concerned with. Okay, so let's get this in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 26. It says, For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. Right? The Lord didn't call the nobles of Israel of this age, of this world, because that would have been, he would have called Jay-Z, right? He would have called Puff Daddy, all right? He would have called who else? Beyonce to be a you know, an elect woman, right? He would have called all these people that are exalted here in this age to be teachers. But the Lord didn't call those nobles. He didn't call the nobles of this world that the Israelites have gotten, you know, of a high status of this world. No, right? He says, but the Most High have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty, and the base things of the world. Let's go into this word base, right? It says ignoble. Let's see what that is. Not honorable. Okay, this is dishonorable, degraded, shabby, objected, contemptible, base, shameful. That's us. Okay, that's us, especially, you know, when we out there on the highways and byways. Hey, Yahawashi said that, or what? A prophet is not honored in his own country. Paul said what? That we are, what he said, he set the apostles last, that we are the offscouring of the earth, the world. Okay. That people will, you know, people shun us. So this is the position that the Lord put his actual nobles, his actual kings and princes from the foundation of the earth in this age, in this last time. He put the top tier men in the lowest estate, and he put the lowest men, the basest, the most vile, the most wicked men in the highest estate, just so he can do what? Let me finish this. It says that is lowborn, because that's what we are, right? Imagine if you had LeBron James, and the Lord could do this, but imagine if one of us was well, I'm too old to be LeBron James' son, but imagine if you had LeBron James' son out here teaching. Like I said, he could do that, but that would actually take away glory from the Heavenly Father in Yahawashi, because people would see it as, oh, that's LeBron James' son teaching. They wouldn't see it as a prophet of Yahweh Shem Yahawashi. They would see it as, oh, that's Jay-Z teaching the scriptures. Because even look at what whole thing happened with Kanye. Even though he didn't come out with the name of the Lord, he didn't come out with, you know, anything that was pertaining unto salvation, really, right? But the fact that he said that he's from one of the 12 tribes of Judah, making no damn sense. But look at what notoriety that got him because of who he was. And that's why the Lord said what? And the base things of the world and the things which are despised, yet hath the Most High chosen, the things which are not, to bring to naught the things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence. Okay, so this is the intelligence, if you will, the knowledge, the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahawashi, that he put his greatest men, he put the most superior men and women, right? But it starts with the men. But you have, like I said, you have the princesses of Israel that are in the lowest state right now as well, right? But the kings of Israel, of the kingdom of Israel, I should say, the kingdom of heaven, the Lord put them in the lowest estate, just so he can confound the ones who are of nobility right now. And that's what we're doing. Okay, that is what we're doing. So that, and if you have that understanding, if you have that mindset, then you won't really be too concerned with the issues and the affairs of the peasantry. This is why we are constantly, you know, speaking about geoeconomics, geopolitics, right? The charagma, the fourth industrial revolution, the things that the World Economic Forum, the World Bank, IMF, International Monetary Fund, things that are being controlled from the highest level, and it trickles down to to the whole world. This is why we're so concerned with those things, because in all actuality, Lord willing, we are those individuals that think on a world dominion type of mentality, because that's the spirit that we have. That's the spirit that the Lord created us with, to be thinking from a judging of the world type of mentality, which most people don't think like that. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 1. It says, "Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to law before the unjust and not before the saints? Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world?" Okay, and that starts with the who? The elect, right? The saints are the ones who made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice. Hey, but you have that second covenant, right? That the Lord said he shed his blood. Yahawashi said he shed his blood for many. So not even all of Israel right now is partakers of that second covenant. Okay, so the real saints in this day and age are really the ones who are the followers of Yahawashi. So it said, "Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, the world shall be judged by you." All right, this is what we're talking about. It says, "Are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters?" So small matters should not be problematic for us. Small heathens should not be problematic for us. These average, everyday Joe Smo, six-pack Joe Edomites that you go to work with, that you see at a store, whatever, they shouldn't matter to you. You should be able to handle, those type of matters very, very simply. Even when you want to go a little further, even when it comes to Jake. Now we know our people are, a little bit wild. We know not a little bit wild. Our people are wild, but us being of that king mentality, we should know how to judge ourselves and act accordingly amongst the wicked of our people. All right, and a lot of brothers, you should have that. Now, of course, that takes the time and skill as you are in the truth, all right, as opposed to when you first come out of the world, right? You might still have some of your nigga mentality and conducts about you, but as you continue to grow in the knowledge and wisdom of Yahawashi, which is really giving you the knowledge and wisdom of being a ruler, a judge of the world, then you should be able to know how to conduct yourselves even amongst the least of Israel. Okay, that's why the scriptures talks about being able to walk circumspectly, especially towards those that are without. Okay, there shouldn't really be brothers that should be engaging in a lot of confrontation with, I'm talking about outside of, if you have, you got to defend the gospel, that's one thing, but outside of doing the works, you shouldn't really be engaging yourself in any confrontation with any of these heathens or any of these wicked Israelites, because we have a wisdom, a knowledge, a understanding, a thought process that is so higher than theirs that we should be able to handle any and majority of any situation very wisely. Okay, because once again, we're talking about judging the world, man. All right, we're talking about matters that are global, that affect the globe, that affect the world, the entire world. But let me go back here because I want to get this word. James chapter 2 verse 5, it says, "Hearken, my beloved brother, and have not the Most High chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him." Now we go into this word poor, right? It's not speaking directly about monetarily. It could be, right? You could use it for that, but when you go into this definition right here, it says destitute of wealth, influence, position, or honor. That is what really being poor is. When you're destitute of influence, right? And you're destitute of the capacity to have an effect on the character development or behavior of someone or something, right? When you're unable to have an actual impact on society, then you're of a poor class. If you can't affect society, if you can't affect the way people think, and I'm not talking about just one individual, two individuals, I'm talking about on a global scale, then you don't really have influence. Now, through the Spirit, and this is where you got to be spiritually. Through the Spirit, we have the ability to affect the ones who hear us teach, and that's really through the Lord, right? The Lord is the one that gives the increase, but He's using us as vessels, right? So, us being, Lord willing, the governing body of the kingdom to come, and the ones who are the Lord's sheep, they are already, through the Spirit, inclined to listen to us. They're inclined to be influenced by us, because through the Spirit, they recognize that, oh, these men are the leaders of the kingdom to come. These men are the leaders of our kingdom. Okay, so we have that ability to influence, and that's why you have to be a very mindful shepherd over the sheep, over the flock, because we have that type of influence over the Lord's sheep. He gave us that. He gave us the sheep. That's why He said, "If you love me, feed my sheep." We got to be able to influence the Lord's people, the Lord's sheep, in a positive, respectable, honorable way. But when you want to talk about from a position of this society, we don't have that influence, right? We don't have that position. We don't have that honor. But the Lord chose the ones who were lacking, who were destitute of that honor, who were destitute of that influence, who was destitute of that position, right? It says what? Powerless. Right? We're powerless. And that's why we're waiting for Yahawashi to return, because He's the one that has the power, and He's going to give us the power. I got the power. We're going to get the power. And that's when we're going to have the ability to implement this right here. Okay. Revelation chapter 2, verse 26. It says, "And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations." Right now, we don't have the power because we're destitute. We're poor. We're destitute of the influence. We're powerless. But when Yahawashi returns with that reward that the Lord has given us as the new bodies, all right, the commandments, the righteousness in our inward parts, and what? The power. Okay, the power. And then you go into this, it says the power of choice, liberty to do as one pleases, and we're going to be doing righteousness as we please. It says physical and mental power, the power of authority. There you go. Influence. Okay, the power of rule or government, of universally authority over mankind. Woo! So that's what it's about, man. It's about having the power to influence societies, countries, nations. And we're going to be having that power to influence them to do righteousness. Just like how the elites of this world, who we wrestle against, they have the power to influence the world to do what? Wickedness. And this is why we are hastening the coming of the day of the Lord. Okay. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." This is what we are fighting against. This is why we don't need to be really focused on the average zombies. because the average zombies don't got the power of influence. They don't got the power of authority to universally over mankind. But who has that? The wicked rulers against the spiritual high places. That's why when we talk about Babylon the Great, the scripture talks about Isaiah the 47th chapter, the daughter of the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans were what? Of the wise and the nobility of Babylon. Okay, and in Babylon the Great, who is that? Who is the modern day Chaldeans? We always speak about that. All right, those are the so-called elite, the elite banking families. So this is what we're up against. See, because we're not fighting against them, fist to cuffs. We're not fighting against the Rothschilds and the central bankers, where we're both throwing blows and flesh and blood is being, hand-to-hand combat. No. Okay, this is a battle of dominions, right? This is a battle of righteousness against spiritual wickedness. All right, we're chanting down everything that is exalts itself against the imagination of Hamashiach. So this is what we're focused on. And then ultimately, once we finish our course, once Yahawashi returns, once these prophecies get fulfilled, then we're going to be able to have that physical power over them. We're going to be able to bind them in those chains. And that is going to be an honorable thing, because nobody else on this earth will be able to do that. Nobody else on the earth can bind all of the kings of the earth and put them in captivity. But when Yahawashi returns and the elect are revealed, are manifested, that's what they're going to do. Okay. Isaiah, I'm going to close it out. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 21. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. You see that? So, hey, the Lord is speaking about punishing the kings, the high ones. Even when you read the scriptures, I have it pulled up here in Joshua. I don't gotta read it, but there's a whole chapter that is dedicated on Israel through Joshua defeating the kings of these other nations, right? And when you read it, right, you see here it says the king of Libnah, the king of Eglon, so on and so forth. It says all the kings 30-1. Because if you take down a king, then you won the war. When the king is captive, when the king is smitten, or when the king is defeated, then the whole nation is defeated. And this is why us, you should not be, I just want to get one of these, Ishmaelites, or one of these Elamites that are walking up the streets. Or I just want to grab one of these broad cap Amalekites that are just, walking up the street. They ain't gonna do shit. That's not gonna do nothing. Okay, you trying to take one of these regular heathens into captivity? That's not going to change a damn thing, because they're already in captivity underneath the kings of this earth. We are on the kings of this earth being brought down. All right, that's who we're exposing. That's who we are chanting down. That's who we are shaking the hand at. Oh, let me pull that up. Right? Isaiah chapter 13, verse 2 says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. We know the mountains represent what? The governments, right? So it's lift up a banner, high mountain, and we're exalting. It says, exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. All right. And the shaking of the hand is not doing a shaking like nice to meet you shake. It's shaking the hand, rebuking them, man. And this is how this is us lifting up this banner to the highest mountain of this society, of this world, which are who? The central bankers. Because best believe that they know what we're about. Just like how we know what they're about, they know what we're about. They know who potentially we may be. They know about the elect of the nation of Israel. They know about Yahawashi. They know about the chosen, the first fruits. And so when they see us speaking about them being taken down, when they see us speaking about Yahawashi Mashiach coming and to destroy them, that we're going to have them in chains, you don't have any other nations of people that are speaking like that, first and foremost. And then even amongst Israel, not all of it, majority of Israel ain't speaking about bringing them down, right? Ain't speaking about when the return of Yahawashi comes, the fact that we're going to be the rulers and we're going to have them bind up. Because ultimately, they're not in a king, those Israelites right now are not in a king mentality because they're not the first fruits. They're not of the superior class. I mean, superior in excellence. So only really the prophets, which the prophets will be the kings and the priests, they're the ones that are going and shaking the hand at the gates of the nobles of this world. So it's really a battle of the elites of the elites versus the elites. All right, the elites of righteousness versus the elites of wickedness. That is what we're wrestling, fighting against, the principalities, the powers. Okay? So don't get too bent out of shape about these regular zombies, man. They're zombified. They're done. This is what it's about. All right, so let's see. Yeah, let me pull this up. Daniel chapter 2, verse 21. It says, he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge unto them that know understanding. All right. So, the Lord remove kings and he sets up kings. And he is setting us up right now. And that's why we have this mentality. That's why we're, always speaking about the affairs on a high level of this world. Now, of course, brothers, see things that, some individual might say, and we use that to edify, but who are we really edifying? We're edifying. We're using the foolishness or the, foolish things that we may see of this world to really edify the elect, which once again, the elect are the nobles of the kingdom. So even in that, we're still focusing on the nobility. All right, on the right-hand side. It's all to the edification of the church, and the church are the nobles, are the first fruits of the kingdom. Okay, so I'm in it there. Lord willing, this was edifying unto the elect. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.